let's try give it a decent amount of live coverage here. And here we are, board number 2 now. Fabi and Gukesh. Reminding you that Gukesh won yesterday won against Hikaru Nakamura. What a game that was. But my favorite actually was Fabi yesterday. Fabi's game versus Arjun was absolutely amazing. Loved this so much. Now, in this semi-Slav, move number 9, that Black had played, it ended here. The theory and the archive available on leechess.org about the semi-Slav, it ended here. No games found, which is exciting, thrilling. I love it. Fabi pushed the b4, which is definitely frustrating the knight on c3. Now, luckily for Gukesh, he can go successfully on e4. He may play also more defensive. He can go e2 a little bit cramped, but he can if he wants. I guess knight a4 is to be discarded immediately. It's not a square you want to place your knight. I don't think you want to go on the rim. Definitely not. I haven't checked the sound and all. Let me see. Okay, volume seems to be max here and everything. That's good. That is good indeed. Okay, we should be multi-broadcasting now. Let me see. Multi-stream. Yeah, that should be fine here. Should I leave it? I'm just curious. TikTok. Okay, fine. And not just TikTok. There's Facebook. There's Kick.com, YouTube, Twitch, and I always forget the last one. So just not to be misunderstood. A4 is horrible. I mean, I don't like it. I guess you can think about it, but it's just horrible. More preferable would be e4, e2. And knight e4 and black knight takes, bishop takes, and the bishop on e4 then attacks c6. That can't be very bad. That can't be very bad. Of course, there's no guarantee black's going to take your knight on e4 after you play knight e4. It doesn't mean black takes your knight, right? So they could just do, I don't know, move the bishop somewhere. Because you attack the bishop on d6, right? Or, I don't know, might they play some black knights on d7 move so that the queen defends the bishop? Maybe. Maybe. Gukesh, 1 hour 51 minutes left on the clock, so he's still got time. I hope he hasn't enough forgotten that he has to move a bit faster and not to go in time scramble and stuff. So he's got options here. Let me go Magnus Erigaisi, covering those moves because I hate it. Okay. Knight has to develop. You got to secure the king. If the d goes, you're going to go just one square, not two squares, because you're going to lose the pawn. d3 being played, then the bishop goes out, and then you can play maybe e3 as well, and then get knight e2 or knight f3. Depends. This one looks like an outpost for the white knight. Looks like a very good outpost in principle. Whenever you consider getting knight to b5, maybe not quite in the opening. You don't want to move twice the same piece in the opening. So maybe knight b5, not just right now. Maybe not just right now. But definitely a very good outpost for the knight to be. Everything at its own time now. So white has to finish the development, castle the king, get that knight on g1, get the bishop on c1 in the game, and castle, and we'll see. And Nakamura here, white and Wei E, which defeated Magnus Carlsen in the Armageddon yesterday. Ho ho ho. Is Wei E, another contender for the World Chess Championship at some point, maybe next year. You never know. Definitely a heck of a player. Amazing player. Wei E. Well, the whole lot of them, Super GMs, all of them. Knight b7, of course, developing, challenging the white. knight. If you take bishop takes, wait, no, it doesn't. Never rush it. If this were to be, you don't take with a bishop because b7 hanging. So if knight takes on d7, black knight takes on d7. Takes and takes. Okay. This guy has something on b7. That fianchetto. Yeah, white needs the castle and needs to get a bishop somewhere as well. C4 though. C4. Let me refresh the page. You don't need take on d7. You could take very well on c4. I don't think that's a bad option. And also you may be thinking after knight takes c4, just perhaps, you may have some b3, bishop b2. Whoa, let me just cover the moves and stuff. So knight c4, b3, bishop b2, castle short. Simple, effective, simple, effective. As long as the bishop on c5 attacking e3, probably you can't do the fianchetto, so you gotta think about that one. Knight c4, a3, b4. We'll see. Maybe not. Knight takes c4 definitely. I'll take it on d7. Probably they both playable. Knight takes knight, knight takes c4. 426, 246. What can I say? 246, 246. So you gotta take the pawn. You gotta take the pawn. Because if you don't take the pawn, you got a problem with a material balance here. So taking on c4 definitely the stuff to play. Okay, shall we go briefly to see what the ladies are doing? Ju and Jun Hampiconero playing here. The Italian game, Gioco Piano. As soon as I'm changing the game, they do the lists with the moves in the archive, and I always have to press the button on the right to cover them. I'd like to watch the games without any ideas being given, something like this. But I always have to remind myself to press the button on the right. Anna Muzicek playing for Ukraine with Vaishali Rameshbaba, the sister of the super grandmaster in itself, Pragnananda. Bishop d7, I wouldn't take that guy for now. Can I just develop the knight? The knight on b1, but where? Can I go here? Let me think a little bit. If you take this guy, and let's say queen takes, nah, it doesn't look good. They're not going to take with their knight, so you can take on c6 and stuff. But you could do knight takes e6, bishop takes, pawn takes. I mean an isolated pawn and a passed pawn on a backward pawn on c6. Might that be a thing? Knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes. c6 could be attackable in the future if you decide to play the sequence. Knight takes, pawn takes. Okay, and then you go for the maybe queen a4 and you attack it. It's a thought. And also you enjoyed this bishop dark square diagonal from the white bishop. That might be a thing as well. Might be. Nothing's bad. Knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen a4. Have I missed anything? It's black's idea. It's black's turn to decide how to defend c6 weakness. And also queen a4 stops the bishop and stuff. But it's got to start with knight takes c6. Probably Vaishali thinks about this one, and many others. Okay. So that's the ladies section. Let's go to the open then. d3 played here by Magnus. Oh man, I always have to press that button, right? So d3 now, the bishop free to go. But it's black stun, of course. Is black on a castle? I don't think that's bad. I don't think castling is bad. Castle short. Unless you want to go crazy, go with like something like h5 or something. Which is probably unnecessary. Probably you should castle. Other than that, what exactly? Castle short. What do you do with the bishop on c8? What does black play with the bishop on c8? The question is. Probably you have to play d6, right? Yeah, there's a thing about a d6. This diagonal is a little bit concerning, I guess, for Arjun. And if you play d6, just feels like it's an increased pressure on this diagonal. It's got to be a theoretical approach here. Also, queen c7, it's not very attractive now because of the knight b5 and knight to d5. Maybe knight d5, but knight b5 definitely attacks queen on c7 if you were to move. So probably he would hesitate to do that. So what happened? Hikaru didn't move. Taken on c4, definitely. You want to take the pawn back and just play. Could you take with the other knight? So which knight is supposed to take on c4? You take the knight on e3 or the other knight takes? Which knight takes on c4? Do you think it's a mistake if you take with knight on e3 to c4? I think he fought for about this one, and he just played knight e5, c4. So he took with the knight on e5. Okay. I guess because he wants to do b3 and bishop b2. So I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad. And if you get a bishop on b2, you tell me you don't like this. It's just great, bishop b2 here. It's absolutely great. I love it. The fianchetto for white is just great. Looking towards the black king. It's great. Yeah, of course, castle. You have to castle. So, black stunned, by the way. And, you know, black might play bishop b4 now. They might do bishop b4. Rook ab by way. So he don't have problem with the b7. It's probably the best to move this one. And also there is another thing. We might be seeing some b5 coming down. Of course. Ta-dun, ta-dun. Thank you very much for following, liking, subscribing. Appreciate it. Hello, Gavin. Yes, that's exactly what he did. He took the knight on e5. Do you play this one, this theoretical approach? Do you do this yourself? Okay. White's to play here, and I think castle short is just great. I don't know what you think about this one, Gavin, but I think castle short is just great now for white. And then some b2. So castle short, b2, b3, and bishop c1 to b2. Roughly, I think it makes sense. But also this one, you got to keep it closer because you got to keep this thing in mind. Once the knight on c4 moves, the bishop could potentially take on e3, and you don't want to have isolated pawns and bad pawn structure. So now he moved that knight, the same knight he played e5 to c4. He played it on a5 now. The same knight. What the heck are these guys doing? Knight a5, why? Because he wanted to play knight b3 and attack this guy? Maybe. And now Wei plays knight on e5, which I sort of understand, because you want to potentially get this guy out, but you can't because white attacks twice on b7, right? So I'm not sure what to say. You can't do the bishop now because there's double attack here on b7. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I would seriously think about castling here with white. Nothing wrong with castle, and then maybe some knight b3. Castle short, king is nice and safe, and then knight b3, and you attack this guy, which has to go. Whether b6 or bishop d6, bishop e7, I don't know. No one knows, but you can estimate what might be the choice after knight b3. So castle short, knight b3. What else? -23 degrees Celsius in London today. A bit hot, I gotta say. I put some drinks in the fridge. I'm gonna go every now and then grab another can. I got one here though. So, but after that one, I gotta go grab some new cold, chilled ones. Come on, man. Castle short. What's wrong with this? Knight b3. That's fine. Knight b3 would be maybe not desirable if you planned on to b3 in order to get the fianchetto, which kind of makes sense too. You can understand that as well. But castle short for the time being. What do you think, Gavin? Would you castle short? What would you say, guys? Okay. Magnus, Arjun. Well, after d3, Arjun didn't move nothing. I would say also castle short here for black. Well, I guess they did the homework and they play the... That's the English, right? They play the English often enough and they had the right advice and the right preparation. Gukesh Fabi. Fabi very off the book because the b5 was unorthodox approach. Bishop goes d3, b4. b5 was reasonable. b4, I think it's not in the archive of Lee chess. b4. So knight e4, right? Or knight e2. I think we did say that both of them are very playable, but knight e4 is a bit more aggressive because you attack the bishop. So they either move the bishop or take your knight. Anyway, he went knight e2. Gukesh, like, not happy to trading. Knight e2. And Fabi's turn. Is Fabi going to castle? I so much enjoyed Fabi's game yesterday. It was unbelievably beautiful. The most beautiful game. And probably, I'm curious to see if it's going to be a more beautiful, more thrilling, more exciting game than the one Fabi played yesterday in this Norway 2025. We'll see about that. Castle short, right? Castle short. What else? Well, you got to do this. From White's point of view, do you know something cool? You might be able to claim the center with this move if nothing stops you, and I can't see exactly what stops you. So if White pushes the e4, I think it looks fabulous for White. So c5 tries just to stop them from doing that, I'm telling you. That's the idea. And there is another idea. So c5 wants to frustrate White from playing peacefully e4, so to speak. Although you could still do it. You could still do it. None of the kings had been castled. There is another thing. When Black pushed the c5 pawn, there you go. I did say e4. I did say a4. Why? Because that threatens just a fork. Now, if black takes here, you can't push this guy because they're going to be taking you. But you do threaten a fork to play it right here. e4, e5, forking these pieces. Of course you can. So I wanted to say that c6, c5 clears a bit the diagonal for the bishop. Bishop c8, b7, amongst others. So that makes sense. Now, you have to take on d4, because if you don't, you're going to get forked. Very curious to see what Guki plays today against Fabi. Very curious. Both guys won yesterday's game. Guki beat Nakamura and Fabi. Who did Fabi beat yesterday? Arjun. Yes. He beat an Arjun. What a game Fabi played. What a game. So black has to take care about this advancement, and the most reasonable one is CD. Now, after CD, white's going to take back with the knight, and it's good. It's really good. It's really good. Love it. Bishop is free to go and make a pin. Potentially, he might be some other strong ideas. The white knight is super optimistic. Got all these beautiful diagonals. Love it. Is there any other way to defend against e4, e5 than taking on d4? I don't think so. So that one is too serious of a threat to just simply ignore it. You can't just ignore this. You can't ignore it. So that's the immediate threat. When Guki pushed e3, e4, this is the immediate threat right now. So you have to stop this. Which is exactly what Fab is going to do. What choices has he got? Apart from CD, I don't see anything else. Like, could you push e5? Nah, you can't do this. Well, can you? Can you push this guy, or is just a bit uncomfortable to just play that? You can't just throw easily that move, right? Difficult. What else? Queen e7? No way, Jose. That's suicidal. Can't do this. No, so c takes d4 or e5. Well, probably cd. Probably cd, yes. Naka. Way. Oh, he didn't move nothing, Nakamura. Do you know, I noticed something interesting. Nakamura is the king of the speed chess. And he's going low on time. Yesterday the same against Guki, and now against Wei E. What is going on? What is going on with Hikaru? Why is he spending so much time? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's normal to think, but he's so fast. Nakamura is so fast. You know, he plays blitzes, he's commenting, he plays bullet and blitz, and he's so good at this type of super speed chess. And now he's just taking so long before he moves. Well, we'll see. We'll see. What did we say here? We said castle short on knight b3. So this or this. So one of these two seem to be the candidate moves for white here. You can't just stay with the knight on a5 here forever. You gotta reposition. You have to readjust that knight. You can't just stay there. On the other hand, maybe knight a to c4. Just challenge this guy a bit. Can you do knight a c4? I guess you sort of can. But Okay. No, man, this is so unexpected. So unexpected. Knight e3 to c4. It's so unexpected. But I think I may understand why. Now, if if Black Knight takes the White Knight, you're going to take back. That's probably an automatic move. There's no doubt about it. But why exactly he played it now, knight c4, I wonder. Why? He wants to play some bishop g5 or bishop f4. Well, when you play the knight, you definitely clear the way for a bishop, right, to do something. I mean, you were just kind of like blocking your own bishop with the knight on e3. So once the knight on e3 departed, now the bishop on c1 can move somewhere. F or G. I think equally good. Probably one better than other. But f4 also I love it because would be also threatening the rook on b8. So I think this is the subtlety behind knight c4. Yeah, I think this is the subtlety. He moved the knight on c4, open up diagonal for the bishop on c1, and the bishop on c1 can move f4. And when you move f4, you're pinning the black knight. If black knight moves, you're going to take the rook, of course. And black has an issue. They got to think about this. How to do. How do you do? How do you play? Moving the rook back in a corner, it's a bit of a pain. Because the rook was in the corner anyway, of course. And this guy is a little bit worrisome. But that's one thing. Now, what happens if black pushes, say, b5? What happens? When they play b5, what happens? What do you play? Well, they can't play now, right? Knight is hanging. So actually, they have to decide: do they take on c4? And if they take on c4, you take back, and then again, you could play bishop f4 potentially. That's an attacking move. Knight c4 does attack the black knight. It's not just a move you can ignore. You can't ignore it, of course. So probably knight takes c4 and white knight takes back the other guy. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's good. It's good. It's good. White still needs to waste the tempo to castle the king. You can't just play with the king there forever. But you know something interesting? What if the bishop now checks the king? So rather than reacting to the threat, what if you do a bigger threat, so to speak, and you play bishop b4? Is Naka going to block with the bishop d2, or is he going to move the king to f1? Now, that's a question. This is definitely a question. So let's look at this this way. Let me refresh the page so we get rid of the paint and stuff. Hey, man. I didn't want to see the freaking move on the archive being displayed on the right-hand side. Anyway, yeah, well. But I did say bishop b4 before even I've refreshed the page. So bishop b4 would be a check. And the question is if white is doing bishop d2 or you're going to play king f1. That is actually the question here. If you play bishop d2, very likely bishop's going to take. And you take back with like what? You take back with a king. You're giving the other guy the chance to attacking you with check using a rook. So after bishop d2, the normal question is, what if white king goes on f1? Yes. Possible. Apparently there is a game in the Lee Chess Archive in between two title strong players that actually did do that at some point. So I guess they are within some preparations. Both of them. Both of them. Yeah, I can't help but noticing that Nakamura tends to go more time thinking than the other guys today and yesterday against Gukesh too. I don't know what happens with Nakamura. Half an hour discrepancy, a gap in between the two. Okay. Back to Magnus Arjun. Yes, of course, castle short. E6, knight f3, castle short. Fine. Well, Magnus going to castle too, right? You castle or you play bishop g or bishop f. I don't think bishop g5 is wrong. I don't think bishop f4 is wrong either. Bishop f4, if black doesn't do nothing, you could potentially go bishop d6 and just win the game, just like that. But black is going to reply with probably d5 after bishop f4. So Magnus can do castle short or bishop f4. Bishop f4 threatens bishop d6 straight away, so I don't think that's bad. And you've got the b5 outpost for the white knight on c3. Knight can go on b5. It's great, great. So all things considered, bishop f4, covering all those dark square diagonal, and knight b5 would be a nice, dangerous setup. And you could just do it right now with bishop to f4. Yeah, bishop f4 is super good. You guys probably agree with bishop f4. Castle, maybe you can delay it, so you can invest this tempo in creating attacking opportunities, and maybe you can think about castling later on. Maybe. Yeah, I like this way to look at the game. Magnus, 90 minutes available. The other guy, 100 minutes available, Arjun. But it's negligible. They are able to accelerate when the time comes. So not a problem. Not a problem. Gukesh Fabi. Gukesh, fast today, no? Castle short. Let me go back just a few moves. So e4 being played with the dangerous idea e5 forking bishop and knight. So exactly as I said, d cd as a way to not allow the fork to happen. So knight takes d4. Castle short. Castle short. Black's to play. Black to play. What do you do with this bishop? What exactly are you meant to play the bishop and to develop? Where? Do you guys think that maybe b to b3 in order to play the fianchetto? Is it bad? Doesn't look very bad. Doesn't look so bad. Bishop g5. A pin is a pin, but what can I say? What else? Rook fe1. Okay, let me play all the candidate moves. Rook fe1 is that kind of move that you can never go wrong with. That's that eternally good move. I rarely Rook fe1 doesn't work in this kind of situations here. Rook fe1 is good for very many reasons. The immediate one is that you're still threatening the e5 pawn's advancement and forking winning a piece. One. Very important. So that's a candidate move. b to b3, another candidate moves. Stops the b4 from moving down, so the bishop is a little bit frustrated on this diagonal e7, a3, if that means anything. So b3 not just block the black pawn, but also allowing your bishop to play b2 and attacking like this. So again, I don't think that's bad. It can't be bad. Other than that, it could be others. Could be other moves. Queen e2, queen b3. Maybe not that strong, but definitely you can play. Yeah, rook fe1, always good. And b2, b3. It's a bit committed if you do this. But I don't think it's bad at all. I love it, actually. I absolutely love that diagonal. What's not to like about that diagonal? What is not to like about this diagonal? you don't have no problem with bishop going a5 because you have a knight here that will remove it straight away. So now they pushed. Let me tell you what's the first I move immediately playing. Knight f5 is the first impulse. It's very strong. I got a very strong urge to play knight f5 just right now. Because I'm attacking this guy, and if there's any problem in the future, I easily drop them g3. So I don't have a problem with this. So this is one of those moves that I'm so compelled to do that I'm afraid I wouldn't even verify many other responses from black. I would play knight f5 almost instantaneously. If this was a blitz I would play with this position, knight f5 just like that. Boom. As soon as I'm realizing I can drop on g3 if there's any danger, I would go knight f5. I don't think you go e2. That's painful. I can't even look at them or I'm going to start crying. So knight f5 definitely. And yeah, then they have to move that bishop probably somewhere. I guess. I'm not sure, but just saying. They might. Or do you think knight b5? Knight b5. I don't know. I don't know. Still knight f5 though. Still knight f5. The very first impulse. Sam, thank you very much, my dear friend. I try to make it friendly. I try to make it informal. I try to make it in a relaxing fashion. And I'm offering just pure human understanding of a chess game. Of course, from my level of perception and understanding, that is. We are all bound to move, act, behave within our own limits and understanding anyway, so I can't go beyond myself. Hello, Ramsey. Hello, Ramsey. Yes. And hello to you too, Adash. Thanks for stopping by, my friends. Yeah, just covering this round number 4. Yesterday I was very happy to see Fabi's tacticalities. I wouldn't expect from Fabi to play such a spectacular game yesterday. Such a sharp French yesterday played by Fabi. I'm still in awe about what the guy played and delivered yesterday. So also I gotta say I'm happy that Gukesh managed to win yesterday against number 2. So I'm really enjoying watching this guy's playing. I enjoy watching their games. And I enjoy talking about what I'm seeing with you, my friends, and learning from you and vice versa. So yeah. Let's see how Fabi deals with this one, Ramsey, because it looks to me Gukesh is getting a little bit in shape. But let me tell you something, I kind of like the white pieces a bit more now here. This one is great. Fabi will have to play defensive after knight f5. And again, b3, bishop b2. I'm not sure at this stage. I'm not sure about this one, but you never know. What else? This one first, and then what else? This one to just fix the weakness, then you attack it like this, then they defend like this, then maybe you push. Then they take, then you take, or maybe you take with the rook and you put pressure on that pawn. There's very many questions. But everything needs to start with knight f5, probably. Probably. So we'll see about that, fellas. Naka way e. Yes, knight c4, knight takes, and look, this should be an automatic move. Why isn't Nakamura just taking straight away on c4? This is automatic. You don't have to waste not even 8 seconds for that one. You just take back automatically. What? You don't need to waste your precious seconds. Bishop d7 now. Well, let me tell you something. Can we do bishop f4 right now? Probably we can. You know what black's going to do? Black's going to do bishop b4. Checking the king. And if you block with the knight, bishop's going to take a new move with the king probably, and you're going to expose yourself a little bit. Or you go f1. So I think if white Naka goes with bishop f4, black will reply bishop b4. Darshan says, what about kxc6? I'm guessing you're talking about which game in particular. Did I miss anything? Which one are you referring to, Darshan? You're referring about this one, knight c6. I'm not sure after queen c7 or queen b6. I'm not sure where you're going to go with the knight. It might be just very well you've lost a piece. If this guy were to move c6 after queen, so knight c6 after queen c7, queen b6, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about your knight's future. I'm not even sure you've got a future anymore. So I'm afraid we got a problem with that knight's defense. Thanks for your question, Darshan, but I think we just lose a knight here. I hope that answers. Where do you go, the guy? You can't go on e5 because black defends e5 twice. You can't take on b4 because the bishop takes your knight. You can't go on a5 because the queen would take you back. So you actually lose the game at this stage. So knight f5. Thank you very much for follow, liking, subscribing, guys. Thank you, Rashid. Yeah. So knight f5 is that move I would have played it automatically, instantaneously. Bishop being attacked now. Black has to play a defensive move with that bishop. He didn't. He played actually the knight, which defends the bishop with the queen. So if the knight takes, obviously queen takes back. That's automatic. This is automatic. Knight on c5 attacks also the bishop on d3 and double pressure on e4 together with the other knight. Also knight c5 attacks c4. It's worth mentioning here, guys. So Fabi played the move, and it's more to this. Also, the bishop on c8 could potentially grab the guy on f5. So it could happen as well. And these little arrows, guys, show us how many consequences after every single move. It's so many consequences and multi-purpose and multi-layers happening with every single move in the game. You wouldn't say knight c5, but look at the consequences. Look how many things it means to play a simple knight from d7 to c5. So what is Guki supposed to do at this stage? Now I'm telling you something. The bishop on d6 all of a sudden doesn't seem so dangerous because the pawn blocks it. Oh, absolutely. I think everybody wants to win in the classical. I don't think Blitz does anyone any great service or anything. Totally. Totally. In the classical chess, you actually do get to think and actually prove to everybody how good of a chess player you are. You know, when you play bullet, hell knows what's that happening there. You know, and it's just ridiculous. It's entertaining, but you can't take it that serious anymore. You know, the bullet. So yeah, classical chess is actually the supreme demonstration of one's abilities to think deep and provide very advanced and complex lines of thinking in this. So totally, of course you want to win in the classical. Of course you do. Totally. I agree, Ramsey. Absolutely. Agree. Okay, what's Gukesh supposed to do here? Well, would you take the bishop? I wouldn't. Not now. But you know, I would explore a little bit. Can I play a pin? Can I play bishop g5? Is it bad, bishop g5? I'll explain why I'd do bishop g5. I'll do it because I'm pinning the knight, of course. The knight can't take on e4 together with the other guy. I'm developing, and I'm vacating c1 for the rook to play, which I do want to do this anyway. You always want to get the rook on an open file or semi-open file. You always want to do that. So obviously, bishop g5 prepares rook a to c1. Of course. Maybe another approach would be queen e2, but it gives black chance for taking initiative. I don't like queen e2 very much. It's playable, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Rook fe1, maybe not now. I'm looking at bishop g5 as my first candidate move. It could be others. Maybe knight takes, but then queen's going to take. They're going to be attacking your bishop twice and e4 being attacked twice. So what's the deal? I'm not sure what Guk is supposed to do. Bishop g5. Yeah, bishop g5 for white. But we'll see. I'm curious to see what current Watches champion is going to go for. You guys feel free to type in your suggestions. Hikaru Wei E. I like this game. I don't know why, but I like it. It's very positional. There's no more queen. Probably going to end up in a draw. These guys are able to do a draw. But you never know. What's black doing? Oh yeah, we did say. If bishop goes f4, which seems to be quite something, because bishop f4 attacks the rook on b8, rook has to go, potentially. But before they move the rook, there is bishop b4 check. First, how do you play to this? Well, here I'm proposing king f1. So bishop f4 attacks the black rook on b8. Black might play bishop b4 check. Makes sense. It does make sense. And I am suggesting king f1. I don't know if you guys agree about this one. I don't know if you guys comfortable with this. But there's definitely one way to looking at things. Because if you play king f1, black again faces the problem with rook being attacked. So how do you do then? And if the rook moves, one can assume that the bishop on g2 goes for b7 straight away. Am I correct? So you got to keep it nice and simple and effective. This is the first ever principle in chess is efficiency. Everything comes second. Whatever you do, it's got to be maximum efficient. Whatever you do. Super efficient, super practical, the only necessary move. Now, it's easy to say it, but it's so damn difficult when you actually play it. Especially when you play it yourself. It's quite a struggle. So that's how I'm looking at this situation here now. Castle, it's not aggressive enough, Rashid. You can castle. Don't get me wrong. You can castle. But if you castle, you give you give black the chance to prepare against your bishop f4 somehow. Oh, look at this one, man. Bishop d2. Just look at this one. Can you believe this? Bishop d2 by Hikaru. After the guy spent like what, half an hour? It's like 31 minutes difference in between Hikaru and Wei E. He stayed so long and he played bishop d2. Okay, you're not going to get checked now by the bishop. But really? Okay. What can I say? I would have played maybe bishop f4. I like to attack. So, bishop d2 does have some quality in it, if I could say this. Because you could play potentially bishop c3 then. So, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the like. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Appreciate great deal. Thanks very much for this. Oh, that's a robot. Oh, man. Oh, that's another robot. Add to block list. Oh my lord. Every stream I got this kind of thing happening. Every single stream. With the same text. Okay, so bishop d2 for bishop c3. Fine. So, Magnus Arjun. Queen e7. Okay, modest but solid. Modest but solid. Guys, I got a question for you now. Do you think Magnus gonna push the H pawn? You know he done this in the past. You tell me if you think h4 is probably Magnus' next move. You tell me, guys. h4, h5, and just keep pushing that guy. Do you think he's gonna play it? Or he's gonna do queen d2 first or queen c1 and then he's gonna play? But very honest question. Do you think he can resist the temptation to play h4? This is a temptation. I'm not sure what the theory... I'm not sure if there's even a theory at this stage with this approach now. But do you think this is not quite a temptation with h4 being played? What do you think? Honest question. Well, you open up the h. You're going to push the pawn. You're going to push h5 one more time. If knight takes, you're going to sack the rook. And if you have queen d2 or queen c1, then you can go even with the ideas like bishop g5, bishop h6, and you trade off the kings, defend the bishop on g7. I'm not messing. I mean, I'm very honest about this approach with h4, h5. I'm very serious about this. h4, and the question is if white should play prior to this, if white should go queen d2 just to have the good old battery here, and then maybe you go bishop h6 at some point and weaken the black kings even more. And the white king's going to stay here for a very long time. And if there's any issue, which frankly I don't know what checks you can give along this diagonal for the time being, if there's any issue, you're going to push the king to f1 as it's necessary, if it is necessary. Totally, Ramsey. I get it. But let me tell you something. Ramsey, I don't deny b5 is a great outpost for the white knight. And I agree with you, my friend. But what exactly are you going to do from b5 onwards? I mean, you could jump on b5, leave the knight there forever, as you said. I understand. But then you're going to wait forever hoping to make a fork with the rook and something? You might be waiting with the knight there for a very long time. I think for the time being, you could keep that option. By the way, no one stops you to play knight b5. Absolutely nobody. But I'd say maybe white should be focusing on attacking, opening up the h and going towards the black king with h4, queen d2 ideas or queen c1. We can debate on this one. If you want to play aggressive. If you don't want to play in this fashion, hell, castle short, play knight b5 and queen c2? Nah, you don't want to play queen c2. You want to play actually queen d2 or queen c1 and do bishop h6 with or without h4. But h4 is actually the cream of the cream. I mean, if you don't play h4, what's the deal, right? So I think Magnus exactly that considers. Probably. I don't know what the software would say about this. I haven't asked the engine. I do not ask the engine. But from a human, I think it looks very, very tempting. This is definitely a temptation. The last temptation of Magnus. Here's another film for Martin Scorsese. The last temptation of Magnus. That sounds good as a film title. I think it's just amazing. That one is a great title. The Last Temptation of Magnus. Totally. Absolutely. In which Magnus is going to be played by Daniel Defoe. Oh, man. There's got to be a lot of makeup to make Daniel Defoe look like Magnus in The Last Temptation of Magnus. It's too much makeup to do that. Nah, it's not worth it. Okay. So yeah, Queen D2, H4. You choose the move order. Going Guki Fabi. So knight takes D6, fine. Queen takes D6, fine. Now there's double attack on the D3. Bishop has to go. It must. Bishop C4. Queen hangs. Queen hangs. So if queen takes, rook takes, very likely. And now the question is if black goes for the E4 or not. And what does what did white achieve here? The bishop pair. It gives up a pawn for the bishop pair, but also the pawn on E5 is hanging. So we could say this: queen takes D1, rook F takes D1, the E5 is hanging. What do? Do you play this? Then you might be facing this. So things are starting to looking interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, Fabi has to decide if he wants to trade off the queens or not. This is the question. Is Fabi going to trade queens or not? What would you do, guys? Rashid, Dashan, what would you guys play? Would you trade the queens? I feel black probably shouldn't trade the queens because you give white power over the D file. White has strong counterattack. E5 already is hanging. The bishop on C1 is strong. It can go many places, including D2, attacking the black pawn on B4, including E3, attacking the black knight on C5 or G5. It's a lot of power. The bishop pair is terrifying. Or maybe they can spend another tempo and play B3 for bishop B2. This is a bit scary concerning. So black shouldn't trade. I feel black shouldn't trade. Yes, Rashid. And look at this one. Look at Fabi's choice. Knight C5 took on E4. He grabbed the extra pawn and he defends the queen with the black knight. Look at the elegance of it. Gukesh plays bishop E3, activating the last minor piece. He didn't trade. He still didn't trade. None of them trade. They try to do maximum activation of the pieces. Now queen takes, you're going to take. I guess with rook F because the other rook wants to go to C or something. If black takes, but I don't think black's going to take the white queen. I don't think they will. I think Fabi's going to move the black queen somewhere. Out of the trade. Or hell, he's going to develop maybe the bishop on C8. That's alright, Darshan. Cheers, pal. Thanks for visiting anyway. Totally. So I think black can actually think about developing bishop on C8. Of course, question is where? Is B7 good enough? I guess that's where the white king is. Why not? Should you play rook Fe to just make sure that the black pawn is not lost? That's another subtlety. Another subtlety. I'm not sure what to say. Or maybe you should play queen E7? So you actually have to think about this one. Yes, Rashid, I think Fabi plays, of course, phenomenal like all the other guys. I'm really curious about today's game's evolution. What do you think, Rashid, about Queen E7? And Ramsey, what do you think, guys, about Queen E7? I know it's not very ambitious. So you refuse the trade, you defend E5, Hopefully you're going to have a chance to play bishop b7 and then get the black rooks on the d-c file and such. So, okay, queen e7. You guys happy with queen e7? You think that's a good one? It's a good move, queen e7? I'm sure there's many others. Queen e7 saves the extra pawn, refuses the trade, and I guess you could dream about bishop e7 and stuff. You could find yourself, well, actually no, bishop g5 can't happen because the black knight takes straight away. So I think it's actually good, queen e7. I like it. I like queen e7. We'll see about that. Let's see Wei Hikaru here. So bishop d2, bishop b5 attacking the knight. Rashid, I don't think it's... Yeah, I think it's a decent move, queen e7. It's not very spectacular. It's not spectacular, I'll give you that, true. But I think it's a very good one, very decent. Now in this game here, Hikaru Wei, bishop b5 attacks the knight on c4. Rook ac1, which I think I said a few minutes, some minutes ago, that's where the rook wanna go. It's an open file. And more than this now, you have to defend the knight, and you do defend the knight, and a little bit of pressure on the c5 as well, as soon as the knight were to depart. I don't know, if you could play here, you actually attack the bishop with the rook. And maybe you claim the c-file, you never know. All in all, I think it's looking good. It might be, though, a draw, this one. Queen's disappeared, queen's been traded. I guess we might have a draw here. With the most correct play, these guys are more than able to make it a draw. Black played actually rook over to d8. What does that mean? You can't really castle short. Because if you castle short now, you're going to lose the game. Following b takes c4, rook takes, and then a rook takes. So you lose a piece if you castle short. So you have to do something. You got to do something else. I don't know what yet. You have to play the bishop. So now the question would be, but then again, you see there's something weird here. If you play this bishop to f or g, you're going to be facing check again. So that makes me think, should white perhaps play a painful move like a3? Which is a bit like a prophylactic move, not allowing bishop b4, so you can actually go bishop f4? Or it's just too slow? It's too slow. Maybe too slow. Maybe not very ambitious, not very aggressive, too slow. And also weakens a little bit the dark squares, but there is no bishop b4 then. So you can attack the rook on b8. I don't know if this thinking is very accurate, but at least it's an idea. Magnus Arjun. Hey, sorry guys, that's a bit of a disappointment. Magnus did the castle short. He didn't push h4 or anything. He didn't push h4. He didn't play queen d2, queen c1. He castle short. Well, they're going to be a very much of a grind now. I mean, you could do, of course, queen d2, queen c1, and go for bishop h6 and stuff, but there's no h4, h5 crazy stuff. And we might get to see knight b6. Oh, whoa, the knight was on c3. He wasn't happy with knight b5? What's he want to do now? Oh, maybe he wants to stop black from playing this, because c5 would be capturable straight away. So I'm seeing knight a4 as a move to stopping black to break through with the d6, d5. Or maybe in other order you might be doing knight b6. Maybe. But that stops d5, that's for sure. Stops d5. Certainly. This is a long game. Magnus Arjun here. This is a long game. I don't think there is any big advantage for none of them players now. Doesn't look like. Doesn't look like. There's no big advantage. There's no massive weakness or something. I don't see any. I don't see any. Probably drawish at this stage. Probably draw. Probably draw. So, this is Gukesh Fabi. Takes bishop c4, knight takes, bishop e3, and oh, Fabi didn't move. Yeah, last time I was thinking about queen e7, but we'll see about that. Hikaru away e, he didn't move nothing. Nothing just yet. a3 feels maybe not now. Maybe there's something else. I'm not sure. Should you play the knight? Like, yeah, but that's crazy. Knight a3, bishop takes, pawn takes. This is crazy. You don't do this, eh? Or you can. Or knight e5? Knight e5, you attack the bishop on c5 with the rook. Maybe. That's an attacking idea. I'm not sure. Yeah, Hikaru got 1 hour 3 minutes. The other guy 1 hour 33. So there's a time gap in between the two. Okay. Ooh, time to get another beverage. Okay, shall we do a very quick puzzle, guys, and then we're going to come back to this? Most definitely. Okay, what's going on here? Knight takes c5, black's to play. What is going on? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, what's the deal? We could take the bishop, then of course pawn's going to take. Anything else? Anything else? And then queen here, after we take with the knight. Knight takes, pawn takes. Queen to g5, attacking the knight and attacking e3. Right, where's the knight gonna go? The knight goes f3. And then we take the pawn with the queen, and when the queen takes, we take with the bishop, and we check the king and attack the rook. Is this working? I think probably it does work, right? Knight takes c3. Queen can't take because the bishop takes the queen, so f takes c3. Knight e3, f takes c3. Queen g5 attacks the knight. First thing first, you attack the knight. Knight has to go. f3 or something. Knight has to go. And then queen takes e3. You take a pawn and you attack the black queen. And, by the way, that would be check. Actually, you could take with the bishop first, now with the queen. Actually, you can take with the queen because you attack the white queen, which is not defended or anything. So you might be. But I think everything starts in this sequence with knight takes e3. What do you think, Rashid and Ramsey, if you guys still there? Would you play knight e3 here? Would you guys play knight e3? If there's another tactic, I don't know what to say. It could be some other tactics, but I don't see them. This one seems to be quite neat, clean, directly, and efficient. It could be some other craziness, but what do you think? Knight e3? Yes. That was the first. This move was correct. The move was correct, guys. Indeed, knight takes e3. So, next one. According to what I thought at the beginning, queen to g5 attacks the knight. and attack c3 twice. So that gotta be the move. Knight has to move. Knight can't go to g4 because if the knight goes to g4, we're gonna take it since we have the bishop and the queen attacking twice on g4. So queen g5 attacks two things. This guy and this guy. And this and this. So black's winning like this. Queen to g5, right? Yes. Now that doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously black is going to win. We're going to capture here. We're going to take the knight. We have to take the knight. Oh, are you serious? Why the hell we don't take the knight? Oh, I'm supposed to play a check first. I'm supposed to play a check first. Queen takes, bishop takes, check. Then they move. And then I'll take. Oh, I'm so pissed off with myself. So what's wrong if I take the knight now? I don't mind trading off a rook for two minor pieces, you see. But maybe bishop has to take... No, maybe queen has to take here first. Oh, I'm so sorry about this. Because I had the right plan. But apparently I've adventured a bit too early. So this is a check now. King has to go. Then we take. I guess. Let me see. King b1. Then what do we do? Bishop takes g1, right? And I don't know. The guy takes and then probably you're going to take... Why the hell? Oh, we don't take because then it's this. So I have to move the king somewhere. That was a subtlety. I rushed it. I had the right plan though. But I rushed it, that thing. Sorry. I'm really sorry about that one. That's a shame. That's a shame. Now I need to create... Hey, Matthew. Yeah, that's you know, it's not too many people. It's like 6 players, all of them, Matthew. So probably that's what the Swiss manager did in the pairings. Yeah. So that's more reason for us to getting very good stuff to play with both white and black. So yeah, it's what is indeed. We're going to go back to Arjun and the rest of the gang as soon as we try to do this guy here. So is it a pass pawn we need to create here? But am I able to stopping the a pawn? I'm still in the promotion square though. By the way, if we don't play c4, I really don't know what the heck do we play here. Because if I move the king away... This guy's going to take anyway. Or maybe they even going to do this kind of stuff, you see. And then I'm having a problem anyway. So I'd say probably we need to pressing with this guy. I think. I might be wrong. So this guy takes, I take. They stay within the promotion square. This guy goes down, I go. Then the king has to step in and then I'm going to do this guy. I'm going to push the other pawn. That's a very beautiful puzzle, king and pawns endgame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks to me we got to do this. If I move the king away, I may have a problem with this. Actually, it is an issue, this. So you can't do otherwise. This one doesn't make any sense. It's a catastrophe because the other guy would run. Although... We played this, they do this, you do this. Oh my lord, look at this one. Can you believe this? Can you actually believe that? So we push b4, right? Now if they take, you take, and they need to make way somehow. Well, probably they're going to play this. Then what do you play? You're going to lose access to that pawn. This is so not easy. Again, we're pushing this and we thought that maybe if the guy goes here, you're going to go this. And if they take, you're going to promote. Yeah, but after this one, they actually take. And then you take. And then white plays this. How do you keep providing defense for this guy on f5, though? you're going to have to move something and then they're going to take you. So it doesn't look good. So I got to go back to what? C4? C4. What do you think, guys? Is this C4? This one doesn't look very good. C4 seems to be the guy takes, right? I take. Okay. They move. I move. They go to stopping this pawn and I'm pushing the other pawn. In the meantime, the black king stays here to keep an eye on these guys. And the white king can't be in two places at the same time. It's a very hard position, Rashid. It's a very difficult one indeed. If you have this one after a long battle, a long game, if you mess up in this point, you're going to lose the game and all your effort was for nothing. Exactly. All your effort was for nothing. And heck, it could be so many things. To be honest, it might be even king moving d5. If the guy takes, you're going to create a pass pawn and this way and you promote. It might be king d5. It might be king d5. If the guy, though, does this way, he needs only 3 steps to promote, so to speak. You know? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. King d5. King d5 or c4. It's very difficult, Rashid. Yes, it's a very difficult position. It's a very difficult one. I agree. So b4, I think it's not. I don't think it's any b4. There is 2 main ideas. Either we push this guy or we go king d. I gotta look again at this. If we play king d, white's gonna play this one. This is the shortest way for them. And then I'm pushing c4. They take. I take, right? And the king goes here. I'm still not happy with the white king moving on e3, and I've got a problem with those guys too, because it's a pawn majority. But I can push this guy though. You see? But that's a check. King d5, c4. Yes, Matthew, c4 seems to be the most direct one. c4, the guy takes, I take. Okay. He moves something, I don't know what. And I push again. The white king steps to stopping them, then you push the other pawn. In the meantime, the black king stops these guys. So yeah, all things considered, it seems to be c4. All things considered, it probably is c4. Based on the fact you're going to be alternating this pawn and this pawn moving forward. Not an easy position, but I guess that's the right way to playing this. It seems to be the first correct move, though. So yes, Matthew, we were correct about this one. Now I guess it makes all the sense to take. And exactly as we said, the white king is rushing to be in the promotion squares and stops us. But now we push, we don't play this guy. Because if we play this guy, they're going to take... Actually, no, I'm pushing. Wait. I'm outside the promotion square. Wait. Wait a sec. No, I'm playing f4. F4, the guy takes, and then I'm moving here. Are you serious? What the hell did I do wrong? What's wrong with this one? They step again. C3 and then F. C3, they move. F. They take one. No, wait. Is it king move? Is it king move? But they stop you. You have to move a king, right? You have to play the king. King move. King move. They stopped them both. King e5. King e5, king e5. Jesus Christ, king e5. So now you can play this guy because they can't take you, right? Yeah, but what's the point of it? Okay, so that's a check. If they move to the left, you're going to push the other guy. If they move this way, I guess you're going to push this pawn now. They're very, very, very tricky. Very tricky, these guys. Very, very. So it was a king move. Jesus. King move now. The idea is if you play this one, they're going to take. And if you push this one, they're going to stop it too. So they just stopped them. They just stopped them both. Whereas this one provides a check that they can't take it. So they move this one, fine. But after this one, they can't take. So they got to move somehow. But Rashid, after king plays f3, I'm not sure we do this, Rashid. We don't do king f5. We push the other pawn, Rashid. We don't do king f5. If they play this, we could just take. No, we have to push the c pawn. This one has to be pushed. We're actually getting a queen. We get a queen in 2 steps. Actually, we just promote. So if they push this one, let me think. I think we go forward. Hg6. King f6. Are you crazy? King f6? You're not going to stop this guy. G takes h7. Yes, you do. Because you're the... So you actually stop them all. So, but yeah, you go at c3. Sorry, you go at c3. You push c3. Not f5. f5 doesn't look very good. c3 goes for the queening anyway. So you get a queen. You do get a queen. g6, you're coming closer with the king, stopping those guys. Whatever. And yeah, if they attempt to go this way, you're going to push the other pawn. And the king deals with this guy. Back to Magnus and the rest. Okay. Knight c3, rook attacked. Queen to a4. Ooh, what is going on here? Refresh the page. We don't want to see the moves and all. Queen a4. What does queen a4 do? Attacks this pawn here. Knight c3, rook has to go, queen a4. Well, queen a4 attacks a5. Like directly. So if this, you take a5. If this, you're going to be going g5. So what's wrong with this? I don't think there's anything wrong with this. So black has to defend a5. How do you defend a5? Because you can't play this. There is a bishop on g2. You can't really move rook to defend the pawn. How do you defend the pawn? Do you play bishop? You play queen to d8? How do you defend this guy? 2, 4, 6. 3, 2, 5, 6. There's a bit of a pawn majority here, and the pawn on a5 being attacked, frankly. Let me see those incoming messages. No, that's fine. Is there any other way to protect the a5 black pawn? I wonder. Apart from queen d8. Is there anything else? If white takes this pawn, of course, you got pawn majority here, and those guys will be moving up and promote. That would be a serious issue here for black, I guess. That's too much of a challenge. Gukesh Fabi. Bishop e3, queen e7. Rashid, do you remember when I said about Queen E7? I said about Queen E7 ages ago, which, of course, not very ambitious, not very spectacular. It doesn't look very, very attractive. But Queen E7 is the stuff that actually keeps the queens on the board. You defend your E5 attack pawn by the white knight, and you're going to keep playing the game with the queens active. I did say about Queen E7 ages ago, so to speak, and I'm happy that actually Fabi fought exactly like this. And he chose to keep the queen on the board, preserving his pawn, because black is having actually 6 pawns, whereas white is having 5 pawns. So you keep your extra pawn. Probably he's going to play some bishop, and you're going to get the rooks in action, and you keep playing the game. So I think it's great. Fabi is doing good stuff now. It's not clear how white is doing better or anything. Yeah, you've got the bishop pair. So Guki has the bishop pair. True. Rook AC, more activation. Bishop B7 played, by the way. We did say that one too. So the game continues. And frankly, Fabi's got one extra pawn. It's got to be something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 4, 2, 6, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, he got one extra pawn indeed. That matters very much. More pieces now are going to get traded. What do you think Fabi going to do next? He's going to get the rooks. Well, you have to be careful about this pawn, though. So you can't just easily move the rook. But, okay, we'll see. Maybe it's time to moving knight a little bit. Maybe attacking this guy. Maybe. But if you move the knight, you can't guard over the g5, which will be pinning you. That's quite a few questions. But I like this one. Rook f to d8. I think it's not a bad idea. Getting that rook active. Can't be a bad idea. We'll see about this one. Wei Nakamura. Okay. Rook AC. Rook d8. Oh my god, Nakamura didn't move. I did say knight a3, which is a crazy looking move, but it's an attacking move because you're attacking both bishops at once. I did say knight a3. Attacks here and attacks here. They can't ignore it. They simply can't ignore it. You're attacking 2 pieces at the same time. So now black either moves the light square black bishop somewhere, which might be here, but no, that's a mistake. The bishop on c5 is totally hanging. So bishop takes a3 now. Bishop takes a3, b takes a3, and then you can start hoping about doing this kind of stuff if nothing else happens in the meantime, though. Yeah, bishop takes a3 now. I don't see what else you could do. Bishop takes a3. Is this going to be a draw? Very hard to say. Very hard to say. Knight a3, bishop takes a3. Yeah, that's probably the only move. Yeah, probably the only move. After bishop takes a3, b takes a3, whenever you got a chance, there is a rook to c7 that might be coming. There is a bishop to f4, bishop to g5, or maybe something else as well. Maybe some bishop b4 after the knight and the bishop being traded, of course, because black has to take on a3 now. So after that one, yeah. Question is for white. Are you going to castle the king? How are you going to castle the king? So you got to play the bishop first somewhere. Bishop takes a3, b takes a3. I don't know what black's going to do. But you can't castle as long as this guy's hanging all day. So bishop had to be moved. Has to be moved. So that's my first candidate move here. I don't think there is any other take here. Guys, whoa, 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 whoa. I just got an idea. I've just got an idea. That one probably doesn't work, right? Because still. So bishop takes f2. Look at this one. Bishop takes f2. King takes. Yeah, rook takes, but actually you're losing the other guy. So that's a blunder though. Interesting, but that's a blunder. Other ideas. Rook takes d2 doesn't work. King takes. No, do you? Maybe it's too much. It's just way too wild. You don't want to do this. Rook takes, this guy takes. No, you don't want to do this. Of course not. No, 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 no. I don't think so. I mean, you have to look at everything, but I don't think so. I don't think anything but bishop a3. Yeah, he just took. Probably he fought like ourselves. He had to think about all these little tweaks and stuff, but yeah, you can't conclude otherwise. Bishop had to take. And now almost automatic. Hikaru shouldn't be spending too many seconds here. Leave the minutes and seconds for later on. Yeah, of course you take. He just took immediately. ba3. That makes sense. You no longer have a pawn that's targeted by the bishop, so the rook is free to go anywhere. You can't castle because you're going to lose this guy, and there is also bishop attacking e2. So what do you play? You could play bishop f4. You could play bishop g5. Which one's the most active one? Or maybe you want to go bishop b4 and then you want to play this? Just saying, I mean, maybe. What else? You also have rook c7. You have rook c7 as well. Attacking stuff on the 7th rank. Yeah, that might be. Rook c7, bishop b4. Castling is impossible now. No, he played rook b1. So he attacks the bishop. Fine. Okay, fine. But not a problem for that bishop, I reckon. That's not a problem. They're going to go e6 or something. So you keep the pressure on e2 as well. So bishop a6. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Wait. Bishop a6, right? Bishop a6 is great. Really great. Queen takes a5. Oh my god, he actually took the pawn. Okay, he took the pawn. Well, you tell me how white's not winning here. What's going on? Magnus is having two passed pawns on A and B. Well, he just lost. Arjun lost here, right? What the hell happened here? I mean, what? It was already 3 versus 2. So the guy pushed, takes. Knight attacks the rook. Rook goes b8. Queen to a4. I thought that maybe queen d8 defends a little bit more. He played bishop b7. Fine. Bishop takes. Queen takes and queen takes. You tell me how is white not winning here with those two super pass pawns. Anything that goes for attacking the queen, you're going to go some g5 something. Or, I don't know, queen b6 even. Queen takes, bishop takes. How are you not winning with white here? You just trade off everything now. It looks like Arjun gonna lose again now. following yesterday's loss against Fabi. He actually offered Magnus, he allowed Magnus to having 2 pass pawns on A and B. I think this is a big plus now on the board. I don't think Magnus gonna lose this game now. Anything else we don't see? I don't see anything. There's nothing. If they push this, probably bishop e3. So what's the problem? There's no problem. There's no problem. White is winning. Because A pawn, because B pawn. And that was that about his game. I'm sorry for Arjun, but... Okay, let's see the eval gauge here. I think it's a +1, +2. +1 maybe. Let me take the eval gauge down. What? +0.16. +0.16. Why is +0.16? Why isn't it? Why not +0.50 or something? What's the compensation for this? So bishop e3. What, they push the other guy again? Well, okay, bishop g5 or something. So they push the pawn again. Okay, a bit frustrating, but I guess you can survive. So if white survives that pawn's advancement in the center, then you're going to be enjoying towards the end the 2 pass pawns on the A and B. So, mind you, the 0.16 is an advantage given by the software. But the guys playing are humans. So, Rashid, yes, it's a small advantage. That is true. And I guess Arjun definitely going to push those 2 guys in the middle. He's going to push them, because what else have you gotten anyway? If you allow white, they're going to be moving the other rook F to C or D, respectively. So you allow them, that's going to be easier for them. So you have to hit them with after bishop, then you go this way. Then white has to play probably this. And after they push again, you can't go e4 because black controls e4 twice with the knight and with the queen. So you would have to go where? Knight a2? Probably you have to go knight a2. Yeah, it's a bit of an advantage here for white, indeed. I would have said it's a bit more than 0.16, but then, yeah. As soon as I saw the 2 free pawns, I said, well, that's got to be it. That's that. It's going to be very interesting. So bishop e3 by Magnus, exactly what I thought he's going to play. He didn't have too many options anyway. He didn't have any other option. There was no other option. You can't go c5 because the pawn takes. You can't go b6 because the queen takes. And you can't go a7 because rook would have pinned your bishop. So there was no option. So bishop e3 straight away, almost automatic. This one going to happen very likely again. And then probably you got to go g5 or something. Gukesh Fabi. The idea would be for Fabi to play this pawn, attacking queen again. So what do you play? Do you play queen a4 now? Maybe you do. Maybe queen a4. Not sure. But you stop this guy from moving down, that's for sure. So queen a4, you never know. Then maybe you get a rook or something. Maybe there is something. With queen a4, rook f to d1. Perhaps. Perhaps. Good evening, Ernest. Thanks very much, brother, for the virtual gift. Appreciate great deal, brother. Cheers, man. Yeah. Other than that, what else is here? When I pressed the eval gauge, because I was incredibly curious to see the software estimation of the gaming between Magnus and Arjun, I thought that maybe it's a big plus for white there, but it wasn't. And also the other two games were deemed as being balanced and equal. 426, 235. Still black enjoys here an extra pawn. This is too early to say that white's winning or black's winning. It's a bit too early. But I think black stabilized. Black stabilized very well. He refused the queen's trade. He is going to get the rook on the F, either D or C. I don't know where, but he's going to do this. Probably not D, because there is a bit of frustration stuff with this. Also, this one, quite aggressive move, frustrating. He wants to push again. So you got to be super careful about this. I would probably go Queen A4 to stopping this guy from moving down. What do you think, Rashid? Ernest, what do you think? Would you guys play Queen A4 here? Queen A4. I'm really thinking about Queen A4. Like, play it now. If you don't play it, where are you moving the queen after they push the pawn? I mean, this one is looking good, but they're going to push. So where do you go? You go here. They're going to play this. You're going to go here. Okay, rook's going to take. Rook's going to take. Do you like that one? So if you want to stop this thing, you got to go Queen A4 now. And then after Rook FD or I don't know what, you're going to play your own rook. Man, maybe you could do a little bit of pressure on the A5 with the Queen A4, Bishop B6. Perhaps you can attack this guy. There is stuff happening. There's still stuff happening here. It's not that clear. Nothing's clear yet. Things are debatable, and it's not clear for them either. So Ernest thinks similarly. Yeah, Queen A4. Yes, Ernest. I think we might be correct with this one, brother. I think it's Queen A4. The best way to continue. Battery on the C for white or for black? A3, there you go. Oh, that's such an elegant approach. Again, I don't think A4 is a catastrophe or anything for white, but A3 actually, if the pawn goes A4, he actually going to take on B4 with the queen. Very interesting. Queen takes, pawn takes. Okay. Looking good. Again, I appreciate very much how these guys at this level, they keep finding resources and stuff that maybe I didn't even consider. They're just great. They're just awesome. So A3. You know, Ernest, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask the software, is Queen A4 was a incredibly bad move or is just a reasonable, decent move? Maybe second, third, or fourth line of the engine. I don't think Queen A4 is a catastrophe. Let's say. Man, it's not even mentioned. A3 is the very first move line of the engine. Gukesh played the first line. The guy crazy. Look at this. The sheer accuracy. Let me see what's bad. Maybe Queen A4 is bad because Rook AC and then they do this kind of stuff. Then it's just becoming a little bit weird. Let me play Queen A4 though. I'm curious. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. Knight to D2. Oh my god. Well, can't I just move Queen D1 or something? So if we do what? If we do Queen D1, we're going to go punished with this. Rook C4, Bishop A6. It's simply game over at this stage. Simply game over at this stage. Jesus Christ. So he went with A3. That's the current World Chess Champion. Amazing, amazing, amazing. resourceful player. Fabulous. The level of the accuracy is just amazing. Matthew, I just got your message. I'm reading it on a screen right now. Fabi Gukeja draw. I think it's a bit too early, maybe, Matthew. But hey, it's a prediction, so I get it. I get it. I think both of them want to win, obviously. Maybe a bit too early to call it a draw. Even the previous move, White was so close to mess it up with Queen A4, which didn't even look like losing or anything. But the level of accuracy and the danger after knight d6 seems to be enormous, because actually we're going to get forked with whatever takes on c4 due to this after knight d6 and things. So Queen a4 would have been sanctioned not with the rook c or something, but with knight d6. So where do you move that guy? So as you could see, it's anything but clear and simple. It's not simple at all. Amazing. And Guki played actually the best move available for White, which is a3 with the perfectly balanced position. Move number 20, by the way, guys. Move number 20. These guys are absolutely fabulous players. Hikaru Wei here. So, rook to b1, attacking bishop. Bishop goes a6. So what do you play? You can't castle because you lose the bishop. So you have to move bishop maybe? So what do you think, guys, about bishop f4? What do you think about bishop g5? Bishop g5 is a pin. But what do you think about bishop b4? You know, maybe you're going to play bishop e7. You attack the rook. Maybe. And by the way, you still have to sort of castle. You can't just stay like this forever. Well, you can't castle because the bishop's going to take on e2. Ay. So what do you play? Bishop f3, you defend the pawn. Bishop f3, you defend the e2. And then, if you get a chance, you will play bishop f4. Or you play bishop f4 first. So bishop f4, back to the life move. Bishop f4, you attack this guy with tempo. Rook has to move. I'm not even sure that's good to play it. Because after rook c2, you have double problem on e2. I don't know what to say. So bishop f3, maybe. Bishop c3? Yeah, the guy is going to play this. What do? You give up your bishop now? Oh my lord. f3. A move I didn't even think about f3. I didn't think for a second about f3. Well, that stops the knight in principle. That's never going to go there. Is he want to play e4 at some point? But this guy's so strong. Maybe he wants to play bishop f1. And the other bishop, where does he go? g5, c3, b4, f4. So many questions. Where's this guy going to go? G4, F, B, C, where? Where do you get a bishop? But F3? Why F3? Apart from stopping the knight to ever moving G4 and stuff. Apart from this. Well, you have E4 and stuff. But then maybe bishop E3 or something. And then king F2. Yeah, you might be. E4. The knight can't go here, can't go here. So you push e4, then you're going to play bishop e3 and what, king f2? It's an idea. So what do you do with the other bishop? Bishop f1, and then you trade off, if you can. Very, very difficult, this game. I feel that Hikaru actually makes he twists it so much that it doesn't look good. Maybe he survives. Maybe he even wins. But it feels so contorted. It feels so twisted. Double pawns on the A file. Mind you, that's important. After some pieces getting traded and stuff, So he got a problem with the A file double pawns. He moved now the F pawn. The king can't castle. The king can't move on F because you dropped the bishop. He has to develop the bishop. F3 also blocks the bishop on G2. So this bishop practically is a big pawn now. After F3, bishop G2 has become a pawn. So he needs to play one or two more tempi in order to do this and this, to do something with the bishop back again. So it feels very, very, a little bit of self-roasting here. It's a bit painful to do stuff like this for white here. I don't like the white pieces here very much now. Wei E, on the other hand, he's doing stuff. The pawn structure is ideal. This bishop attacks super actively. Black will play rook b c8 anytime. He's doing very well. Black is doing very well from a positional point of view. I think it's looking absolutely fine. He could eventually go king f8, king e7. Yeah, and it might be a pin here, but not the end of the world. I guess h6. You take, king takes, or maybe, yeah, king takes maybe. So there's something very weird about Hikaru's game here. It's weird. Very weird. Probably the software says it's perfectly equal, but it's just so weird. Magnus Arjun. Yeah, exactly as we anticipated. Black is rolling down those two connected pawns. Bishop g5. He pushes again. That was expected. Bishop takes f6, so Magnus now simplifies the whole thing. And now the knight attacks this guy, and he moved it right in the center. Risky, risky, risky business. Where do you get that guy after, say, bishop goes g7? Where's the knight going to go after this? Probably going to play knight b4, right? Probably. So after bishop g7, what do you play? So bishop g7, what do you play then? Knight b4, right? And you keep the knight there for a good time. You're going to stay with the knight on b4. Oh, Ernest, I didn't pay close attention to that thing. I've heard something about Niemann and what was it? Was Daniil Dubov was one of the conditions of the match? And if I remember correctly, Hans Niemann said that he doesn't want to do the lie detector thing. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the evolution of that drama. I think he should do it just to clear out everybody's doubts and all. He should just do that. He should just do this. If he's serious about it, he should just do the lie detector thing. You know, clear out any doubts of your fans or everybody else, and that's that. The more you refuse to, the more doubtful folks would be in regards with yourself, so to speak. So he should do it. You know, clear out everything and go nice and decently forwards and stuff. The more he refuses, people are going to be very doubtful. So I don't think it serves his interests. And if he purposefully does not want to take the lie detecting, he doesn't want to do the tests, that also means something. So you don't want to do it because you probably don't know what's going to happen if you take the tests and they don't go your way, right? I mean, hey, so the best stuff ever is just be super, super honest and very, very transparent and be a very correct person, and I don't think you got any issue afterwards. Just that's that. If you do fishy stuff, it's not going to end up well, I guess. A lesson for everybody, not just in chess. So yeah, but that's what I remember seeing on the homepage, whether leechess.org or chess.com. Yeah, I'm reading whatever comes in the articles there on the homepage. So that's that. Okay, what's black going to play here? Is there any other option than bishop g7? Do you think bishop d8 might be a thing? A very honest question. Is bishop d8 actually an idea? Thank you very much, Marcius, for following. Appreciate it, my friend. So bishop d8. Is this better than bishop g7? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Bishop d8, bishop d8. Bishop d8 or bishop g7? Bishop d8 attacks the queen, and the only reply you've got, it's got to be queen to c5, because you lose the knight if you drop the queen back on the d2 or something. So bishop d8, queen c5, and then let's take it one step forward. Rook c8. Again, let's do this again. Bishop d8, queen under attack. What option? Queen c5. Okay. Rook bc. Where exactly are you going to go? Very seriously, where are you going to go? What am I missing here? Bishop d8. Is there any other square after bishop d8 apart from queen c5? Is there any other square? Normally you want to get the bishop on g7 and just stay there. And it's understandable, but bishop d8 creates quite some trouble for the white queen, and the white king is also under constant attack. Now, heck, look at this. Bishop g5 now he played. I don't know what to say, dude. It's just... Okay, bishop g5 he played. Now I reckon after h4, what do you play? You gonna go bishop d8? Or you play the knight now whilst you can? Probably you want to play the knight now whilst you can. Knight b4. Is this a problem? Not really. You're gonna grab this pawn though. Because when you play knight b4, you also clear the way for the queen to take. What am I missing? Knight b4 allows white queen to take e5. Right? Look at this one, fellas. Knight b4. What's the bishop? What do you do about e5? What does the bishop on g5 attacks for the time being? I don't see what's the attack. I'm not sure about bishop g5 though. Probably bishop d8, at least you would have attacked queen. I think it's quite problematic for white after bishop d8. Now Magnus has a choice. You allow him to finding resources in the position. Yeah, I need to go grab that beverage because it's the best thing to do. Yeah, thanks for the follow, guys. Like, subscribes and all. Thanks very much. Appreciate. So knight b4, I think it's the first candidate move I can consider here now. Really. Knight b4. I don't like Magnus' position. I don't think Magnus is okay with this one. I don't think he's comfortable either. I don't think he's comfortable at all. How can you be comfortable here with white? But anyway, don't reside just yet, but no, you don't have to. There's no point. But okay, knight b4. You guys tell me if you think it's a better move here, but I don't think so. Anyway, this one. Look at this. a3. Played already. Knight d6 anyway, attacking the bishop. Bishop e2. And Fabi attacks. bishop. That's the best chess to attack. Bishop d5. Where do you go? But you know something? Fabi is really in very good shape. I have to say that he might be having an incredible performance at the Norway chess. Watching him playing yesterday, that spectacular game against Arjun, which he won, and watching him now, I think he's in a very good shape. I like Black's pieces here. I really do like him. He just creates attacks and attacks and attacks, one after another. Where do you move the queen? My days, this is just beautiful. He really finds resources to attack and increase the pressure. The minor pieces, the black minor pieces, are concentrated in the middle. The rooks are going to come in very soon. First, now Guki has to fix the white queen somewhere. You got to go somewhere safe. Where? What is safety for the white queen here? Where do you go? You go on the d1, you might have rook f to d8, say, and then you got to worry again where do you move the queen. Give me a good square for the white queen. The black queen on e7 is okay, is fine. But give me a good square for the white queen. Where do you move that white queen, though? What's a safe square now for the white queen? You go, what, a4, I guess, right? I guess. What's a safe square for the white queen? Queen a4. Maybe queen a4. And then you can't really take what... Yeah, queen a4, there you go. I was really thinking about what the heck to get the queen. Queen a4, exactly. And from white's point of view, you can't take on b4 because the other guy takes and you're going to have an issue with rook attacking you on the a file. So it's not that easy. You can't take here, really. Rook a b8, almost automatic by Fabi. So he had it planned. He had it already sorted. Rook f b8. Look, guys, I think Fabi's going to do something good here for himself. This is scary. This is just scary. Yeah, you go d1. Okay. Yeah, I get it. You go d1. Sure. I don't say no. I understand. Yeah. Queen d1. Queen d1. Queen d1. I still like black pieces a bit more. They've got this, attacking the e3, and then some double attack on a3 with the pawn and with the queen. Rashid. So queen d1, if that's your suggestion, that's what you said, right? That's what you said. You said queen d1. Right. Queen d1, then consider knight f5. It's a bit of an annoying move, knight f5 attacks this guy. You're going to have to find a square for the bishop. I don't know where. Maybe this. Attacking yourself, the queen. Maybe. Far from over. It's not finished. Matthew said that Fabi Gukesh could be a draw. Yeah, could be a draw, of course. Could be a draw. But it's still very complicated. There's a lot of things happening. Very many things happening. Very many things happening. That's a pain to play this one with white. Rook b2. To defend that d2 bishop so that he can castle, for instance, or something. He can move here. Well, he can't castle because the e2 hanging being attacked by the bishop. So it's so not comfortable. Rook b2 because maybe he's going to play some king f2 and stuff. Still, the bishop on g2 is not very happy. I don't like Nakamura's game today. I don't like his pieces. I think I do like how Wei E plays. Wei E beaten Magnus yesterday in the Armageddon, and he played incredibly well the classical chess as well. So he's doing very well, Wei E. He's in good shape. I've noticed that actually number 1 and number 2, Magnus and Naka, lost yesterday, and they don't look very optimistic today either. So I think it's a problem with them. Maybe they're a little bit out of shape in this tournament. They both lost yesterday, Magnus and Hikaru. And it doesn't look very good today either for none of them. They're going to lose again? We'll see about that. Fabi's in very good shape for this tourney. Wei E, very good grinding, Wei E. Very good grinding. Arjun seems to be coming back, so... Sorry, yes. No, not Arjun. Gukesh I meant. Yeah, he seemed to be doing very well. Yesterday. Very well yesterday, and today, not bad at all. Quite some chances against Magnus. Quite some chances. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. There's so many factors, Matthew, that affects one's ability to play in chess. There's so many factors. So many things. Absolutely. Yeah, you're not living in a vacuum and you just wake up, play chess, and go to sleep, and then that. There's also a lot of personal factors, social, economic, personal factors so it's never ideal. But what I did say previously was knight b4. At least you've sorted the knight. Knight on b4 is on a very good outpost. The knight on b4 will never be moved. Well, there might be some bishop e7 though, which might attack. But for the time being, just for the time being, if there is any bishop e7, you might potentially play knight d3. Just saying, maybe. Anyway, queen attacks the e5 black pawn though. They do. So probably question is how black defends. You have many resources here to look at. Maybe rook. Maybe rook. Bishop feels... Yeah, you could. Maybe. I'm not sure what to say about a bishop. Rook, perhaps. I don't think you want to lose that pawn, right? Anything else? Is there anything else? Could we look at this? Just saying. If there's any of this stuff, you're going to go with this check. They're going to move. Then you're going to move on. I don't know. Is queen e4 a bit too much? Or do you attack the queen, perhaps? Queen e4 is a weird move, but I'm not sure it's very bad. It's a psychological move. Okay, let's use again this word. It's a psychological move, queen e4. You defend the black pawn, and you might be tempting white to pushing f3 and creating weaknesses on the dark squares. So queen e4, all in all, it's one heck of a very weird move, but I don't think is unplayable. I don't think it's a catastrophe or something. It's an interesting idea. Queen e4. You're getting closer to your opponent. You actually, with a move like queen e4, you defend the e5, but also you attack the e2. It's many good stuff about queen e4. Yeah, you go exactly in the middle of the epicenter there, but hell, that looks interesting and promising and aggressive and uncomfortable for white. I like it. What do you think, guys, about queen e4? Honest question. What do you think after queen to e4? And I'm going to let this question whilst I'm going to go grab that extra beverage and pull the curtains because the sun is going to make it more challenging for me now. Gotta draw those curtains. And yeah, what do you think honestly about queen to e4? And let's just do what we said. We'll be back in a sec then. I like h5 too. I like h5 too. Okay. Alrighty then. Where were we? Have they played? No more intrusive sun. Knight b4. Eric guys didn't play nothing. I think Rashid said about pushing the h5. Rashid, I think it's an interesting idea, but not just yet. Because I don't want to lose the e5 pawn. And when they take the e5, they also attack the bishop, Rashid. So maybe h5 a little bit later. Maybe we need to address the e5 first, and then we can think about h5, h4, which I think is a very interesting way to attacking. Because I guess you play h5 because you want to play h4, right? I guess. Or do you think e5 doesn't even have to be defended? Because if queen were to take, well, then they attack your bishop, so that can't be comfortable. But I'm just thinking, might that be a poisonous pawn, or just ridiculous to drop that pawn? Could you do h6 and then g7? I don't know what to say. I still like queen e4. I still like it. We'll see about that. I don't know. Queen e6 here. So queen e4, rook b, queen, bishop c5, pinning the knight to the queen. So knight can't move, or the black queen is gone. Queen e6, and yeah, here we are. Hikaru. Difficult position for Naka. If he survives this one, he's almost a wizard. I mean, it feels so difficult for white to play this. I mean, he got a bishop pair, but what does that even mean now? Knight b5 by Wei E. Knight b5. It feels so difficult to play with white here. I mean, look at the bishop on g2 and tell me you like that guy on g2. Just tell me what's going on with that bishop on g2, ultimately. Where's the rook on h1 going to go? Really, where's that going to go? Okay. Where to get the rook on h1? Is this thing good or a very bad move? a4. But then I can jump here. And you know what that means? The knight together with the bishop attack e2. It becomes more and more and more uncomfortable to be white here. This Nakamura guy today plays some very weird stuff. Okay, the bishop may be playing e7, frustrating a bit this guy, but I guess you're going to find a square for the rook eventually. It doesn't feel okay for white here. Something is not very it's not very comfortable here. Yeah, the bishop is awful. The rook on h1 doesn't exist. Yet. Doesn't exist yet. There are two white pieces that don't exist. Bishop and rook. Black's pieces, they all very harmoniously attacking and very present. One killing over rook, second killing over rook. On the D, on the C, the bishop will be ferocious together with the knight. As soon as the black knight goes d4, all of black's pieces attack. All of them. If Nakamura survives, again, it's great for him. He's a magician if he survives this. Wei Yi proved yesterday how much of a stamina he's capable of and resourceful guy. So Wei Yi is ready for the battle. And Nakamura also goes a bit difficult with the time management. You guys noticed? The king of speed chess. Half an hour. Wei Yi like 53. I don't know how to say. Something weird. Both Nakamura and Carlsen are underperforming, let's say. Both of them underperforming. Slightly underperforming. Whoa, yeah. Fab is doing very well. Guys, you know what's going on with Queen E6 thing? Do you know what Gukesh is afraid of? I think Guke is afraid of this kind of stuff. Amongst others. But this one looks a bit scary, I'll tell you. Just looks a bit scary. Isn't it? I mean, it gives me a bit of massive discomfort. If I were to be white and black play against me, bishop b3, where the heck do I go? Where do I go with the queen? Really, there is only one square. If you play something. I don't know. Some random move. Let's say you go g3, which is awful. Or g4. Okay, forget about it. You do something, and black then continues bishop b3. There is only one square for the queen, and that is c6. Then you do attack d6 twice, the bishop and the queen. But this is so weird. We'll see what Gukesh decides to play here. We'll see. Maybe he should trade off that guy. Clear the way for the rook, potentially. But the queen's coming, so you won't be able to play rook c7. You won't. What else? What else? Is it this a good move? You attack the queen. It can't be that bad. You attack the queen. Queen has to move, and at the same time, queen has to defend the d6 knight at the same time. So, can't be a very bad move. Knight g5 hits the queen. Queen has to stay and defend the black knight. So you got to choose the square carefully about the queen's safety. You got to be careful where you move the black queen afterwards. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Knight g5 is the move which very actively targets the black queen, has to move, and at the same time you have to defend the knight on d6. So where do you go? Where do you move the black queen? You have to go e7, right? Which means you go back in a pin. Your knight is still pinned. And you gotta go there. Where else can you go? If you go with the queen on d7, it's a blunder. Because queen takes, knight takes, and bishop takes d6, grabs a knight for free and attacks your rook. So that's just game over. So Fabi has to carefully choose the next move. Queen being attacked, you can't ignore this. Where do you move the queen? Is Fabi going to play crazy stuff like yesterday? Is Fabi going to go b3 now? It's a very honest question. Is Fabi... My lord, he goes queen f5. So you're telling me that I... Jesus Christ. He played queen... I mean, if bishop took d6, I guess he takes this guy, but then the rook is hanging? What? So... if queen takes g5 and... No, it's white's turn now. So white takes. And queen takes. And then bishop takes again and you take. Is this bad for white or something? Knight f3 straight away. Oh! It's actually checkmate on g2 afterwards. So if you take with bishop on d6... queen takes g5 with the checkmate threat here. So you can't really take the rook because you get checkmated on g2. Unbelievable. I mean, it is very believable now. So knight f3 was a must. Whoa. Knight g5, queen f5, and knight f3 is a must. And now you got more than enough time to decide what to do with that knight on d6. You got more than enough time and resources here. Starting with this, which knight e4 attacks the bishop on c5, and you increase the pressure on the king side. So that's looking good now. Knight to e4. I don't think it's bad. Don't think bad at all. And maybe there might be some others too. But knight e4 seemed to be absolutely fine. And it could be some others. Yeah. That's going to continue for a while. Hikaru here. Let me see what he played. What a painful way to play for white. Rook a1. Rook a1. He moved from a corner of the board to the other corner of the board. This is just so painful to watch Nakamura doing this way. Jesus Christ. Knight c3. Attacks exactly as I said. A move like this. Attack c2 twice. The rooks are active. The knight is active. Everyone is active here. And I think actually he wants to play knight d5 to attack this bishop. The only active piece of white, so to speak. Maybe. There might be some others. King e now. The bishop on g2 really, really does not exist no more. And actually, another idea might have been this for black, right? The rook defends, attacks this guy, and wins the rook. This is crazy. A move like knight c3 threatens knight d1, forking the king, check, and of course the rook on b2. And forces white either take the knight, losing the very active bishop, or drop the king on the back rank. An absolute pain. I think Hikaru is just gonna get a little bit white hair after this game. It's just awful. It's just awful. The bishop on g2. I'm not even sure what it does, when it's gonna do something. Maybe he's gonna find some maneuvers, but the bishop on g2 is absolute pain. It's an absolute pain. Whew. Rook on a1. It's an absolute pain. Rook on b2, okay, maybe he's gonna be what? If you go here like rook takes, king takes, and then you lose e2. Because knight and because the bishop attack e2. There's so many problems here for... Maybe it's survivable, but it's not comfortable. Magnus Erigaisi here. What the heck did the... Wait. This. So Magnus didn't even touch that pawn. Bishop d2 attacking and pinning. Queen takes now e5. Bishop takes, and takes. And now rook to d attacking d4 twice. Rook attacks the queen and attacks e2. Fellas, I think that's going to be... I think this is the day in which Magnus loses again. I think it's the day in which Hikaru loses again. I think today both Magnus and Hikaru probably going to be sort of losing. Queen has to go, and rook is going to take e2. Where do you move the... You move here? Okay, let's think a bit. You move here. Rook takes. Queen takes. Rook takes. And then b2 being attacked like twice. How do you defend it? I'm not sure how you defend it. Good stuff for Magna. He got like 45 minutes. So, okay, he got plenty of time. Very difficult and very complex matches going on, my dear friends. I think we're going to call it a day for the time being now. And almost 7 p.m. UK time, guys. I'm aiming to seeing you again, my dear friends, for the round number 5. And if you want to check the latest video on the ideas to play after developing the pieces and castling the kings and such, you may check the last TikTok and YouTube video. It's the same practically. I put the same material everywhere. So thank you very much, fellas. Thanks for your presence. Rashid, Matthew, Ernest, Sam. Did I miss anyone? Just a handful of friends I got here. Dashawn. Apologies if I missed any other guys. So you guys great, and see you tomorrow.